Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Four podcast. That's an interesting picture there.
Well, he's 1-0 against him this year.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost to him.
Okay. We have three games that we want to get into really heavily. Talk a little bit about Wisconsin and Illinois splitting the Big Ten championship. We'll look ahead to the Power 5 conference tournaments and pick some other conference tournaments as well quickly at the end. Not an extensive preview of random teams from Luke.
No, ridiculous.
Okay, let's start with Michigan State and Michigan. Michigan just beats the doors off of Michigan State earlier this week to help bolster their NCAA tournament resume. Michigan State in a little bit of a free fall.
Swear to God, we talked about this in the podcast, the last podcast.
No, we didn't. Michigan State was coming off the Purdue win last podcast.
No.
Luke, you have anything to say?
I was just waiting for Mike to give us 10 more reasons why Izzo needs to be fired.
No.
Obviously,
we already talked
for
about
Michigan.
Did we really?
Michigan's playing their way.
Yes.
Michigan's playing their way into the tournament with a win over Ohio State too. They're on the right side of the bubble at the moment. Some say this Indiana game coming up is a win and you're in. I don't.
Nobody's
That's
saying
necessarily true. I think no, people are saying it. I think Michigan can lose and still get in because I think they're pretty much on the right side of the bubble at this point. But a couple bid steals go the wrong way, and you never know.
All right. Well, if we already talked about this game, we can move on if you want.
Well, yeah, our podcast was March 2nd, and the game happened March 1st. So.
No. Well, my bad. I wanted to talk about it again. That's okay.
Well, I mean, I could talk about it. I could go into my 10 reasons again.
All right. So we're going to move on. Later in the week, Ohio State and Michigan State played. Michigan State again loses. Ohio State, that was a big win for Ohio State as they were and now they are back in their free fall. But Michigan State falling even harder. So what do you guys think about this?
It's not a free fall because we set this up so we can play Purdue instead of having to play Iowa. And who was the other team we'd have had to play? It was like we'd have to play like Rutgers and Iowa if we won, but instead we lost, so we get to play Purdue and Penn State. Good win for Ohio State. Big game. I mean, Joey Brunk was obviously the story, but I just think right now we're just trying to push through some injuries, get back to full strength for the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. And I think right now we have the lineup in the conference tournament that we can make a run to the final. And Michigan State just sucks. They don't have anybody who can score the basketball.
It was an embarrassing performance. No grit, no fire, bad coaching, bad scheme. Couldn't stop a guy who's averaging 2 points a game. What else can you say? I mean, it's embarrassing. It's a wake-up call. And, you don't address the center position in the offseason. Stuff like this is going to continue. So, I mean, it's not surprising the outcome. But just the team just laying down and taking it and not even just showing no resistance at all was embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State's pretty bad. I'm off the they're going to go on a run train. I mean, Joey Brunk with 18 points is one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen in a college basketball game.
It was his senior night, and he's a walk-on, so.
Just a shameful performance from Michigan State. I know Mike likes to blame Izzo for the coaching. I don't really think this is a coaching problem. It's a roster problem. Their roster sucks.
And who's responsible for the roster?
Well, he is, but you say his coaching sucks, and that's
it's
not
a coaching
true.
problem. He's the coach. He's responsible for the roster.
The fact that this team is positioned to make the NCAA tournament is a miracle. That's
bullshit.
Horrible.
Bullshit.
Horrible.
The the team has regressed. This was a top 25 team. This
Well,
was
they were getting
a top
lucky.
10 team
They were
in the rankings.
were
Don't
getting
tell me it
lucky.
has nothing to do with coaching. Give me a
They were
break.
getting lucky. This roster sucks. It's terrible. Gabe Brown was playing well at the beginning of the season. He
You don't
sucked.
get lucky and beat Wisconsin by 14 on the road.
Yeah, that was lucky. They didn't have Tyler
Actually,
Wall.
Wisconsin is lucky, so maybe not.
They didn't have Tyler Wall. Max Christie, pretty bad all season. Malik Hall.
The coaches have run him into the ground because he's not physically ready to play, but he still plays 30 minutes a game, which is a joke.
And, Tyson Walker's been a disgrace. And
He's their best player, and he doesn't shoot.
Malik Hall hasn't been
Malik
good
Hall's
in
a
the last
joke. He
month.
should transfer.
He's been pretty bad as well.
If I'm any one of these players, I need to transfer immediately. This is a program in free fall.
This roster sucks. That's the bottom line. I'll say what I need to say about Ohio State when we talk about this next game, though. Ohio State playing Michigan. Big rivalry game. Michigan, pretty much a win, and they're in. Ohio State fighting to not continue their ridiculous fall that they've been on here. And, they just completely lay an egg. No Hunter Dickinson out with a stomach bug, which is ridiculous. But this has been an embarrassing performance from Ohio State. What do you guys have to say?
Yeah, I didn't think we played bad, but it's a game. We were up by 7 at halftime. It's a game you have to win. I think part of it is it looked like we just, at the end of the game, we were just turning the ball over. We were playing horrible defense. Maybe it was because, these guys have been running to the ground the past 3 weeks, playing a game every other day, but that's not an excuse. Senior night against your second biggest rival in basketball, you got to
Without their best player.
You just got to dig down and find a way to win. I think they kind of ran out of steam at the end of the game, but that's not an excuse. Branham played okay. I thought Liddell played okay, but no one played. I don't think anybody played great, and you need someone to step up in a game like this. And when it comes to Michigan, one other thing is like Terrence Williams. He averages 5 points a game, and he goes off for 17 against us. That's the most Chris Holtmann thing of all time, is some random guy going off for 15 to 25 points to beat us. I thought Diabate played really well, actually. He's kind of come on at the end of the season, I think. I know, Chris, you probably watch more games than I have of Michigan, but I've been impressed by Diabate. The guy who I think, and this is why I think Michigan has concerns, is I don't think they have a ton of depth, and they have a guy in their starting lineup who plays over 30 minutes a game and went 0 for 10 from the field.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great player.
Houston, he is just a massive weakness for this team. You have to play him. He's a 5-star, and you have no one else you can play. You have a 7-man rotation pretty much. Buffkin could maybe play a couple extra minutes, but are you going to rely on him? No. 0 for 10, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Not a great stat line.
Yeah, this is the Michigan team that the Jet Bry has really been looking for. The Jet Bry has really taken Michigan seriously all season, and Ken Palm has come around to them. A lot of the predictive matrices have. And then, listen, I've been saying all year, Michigan is better off when one big man's in the game, and I think this game proved it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Diabate or Dickinson. One needs to be on the bench, and Michigan needs to put either Johns or Williams in the game.
The problem is
you can't play two centers.
Two of your best 3 players.
Don't care. You can't play 2 centers at once. Just look at Purdue. Not even Purdue does that. And they have 2 great centers. You can't do it.
Well, Purdue has a bigger problem.
Yeah, Purdue's got more problems than that. But I thought Ohio State's defense was a joke.
It was not good.
I thought Devontae Jones played probably his best game. And Michigan came up clutch. They made some big shots, especially the freshman kid, the best kid to ever come out of the state of Michigan, Kobe Buffkin, big shot at the end.
That was a big shot.
And, this is a very good Michigan team. I don't care what their record is. power ratings wise, this team is one of those. They're going to be one of those 11 seeds that you don't want to see in your bracket. Michigan has a good chance if they get the right right path. They can make a Sweet 16 even farther. Ohio State, no, not right now. The way they're playing, I think Ohio State's got the potential to be a very good team and a chance to make a run. But I mean, they're not playing the way they need to be playing right now, especially on the defensive side of the basketball. Talent's there. Branham. Branham's probably, well, he's definitely the Big Ten freshman of the year now. Certainly come out of nowhere the past 3 or 4 weeks. And Liddell, obviously, what you're going to get from him. So Ohio State, they got to set themselves up for the tournament by doing pretty well in Indy this week. Michigan, I think, they might want to lose because I think, for them, I think you want to be an 11 seed. I don't think you want to go any higher. 11 is the perfect place to be. It has been shown in the past, when do 10 seeds make it really far? It's always the 11 seed that makes it as farther than most teams. So if I'm Michigan, I want to stay on that 11 line if I can.
Yeah, I mean, for Ohio State, this has got to be one of the most embarrassing performances in program history. You're up by 7.5.
Relax.
No, it was.
Losing to Penn State 3 times to lose the Big Ten championship, both in the tournament and the regular season, is way more embarrassing than this.
No, I mean, you lose to a team who didn't have their best player. It's unacceptable. A rivalry game at home. You're up by
But Michigan's better without them. They're better. They're better when they don't play 2 centers.
And I'd like to refute that point.
Go ahead.
Made by Mike about the 2 center thing. I mean, I think Michigan's played some of their best games and they have 2 centers on the floor. I mean, they do a lot of good things with Dickinson at the free throw line and Diabate in the low post area.
Just way more spacing. Spacing.
It just doesn't matter.
Have you noticed the games where they've only had one Devontae Jones goes off and plays great? It's because he has room to roam and get in the lane and make plays. That's when Michigan's at their best. Is when he's at his best. You can't play 2 centers. You can't do it.
That's just not true.
Unless Moose is going to find a way to shoot, or you're going to stick Dickinson outside and not post him up, because can't have 2 guys in the lane. Can't do it.
Well, I just don't agree with that. We've played some of our best games we have played our best games with both of them in the line. Our ceiling is high.
What games were that? What's
Purdue.
That? Okay, Purdue sucks.
That was the best game we've played all season, for sure.
Okay.
At Iowa, those are probably the 2 best games we played all season with those 2 in the lineup.
Okay.
Our ceiling is the highest with both of them in the lineup.
The ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling is the roof. So yeah, I mean, impressive win. I believe we're in the tournament now, no matter what, barring like a 40-point loss to Indiana on Thursday.
So you're not in the tournament no matter what.
Devontae Jones, I don't really take anything out of this. He deserves no credit because we had the ball down, I think 5 twice against Iowa the other night with under 3 minutes to go. And on 2 straight possessions, he turned it over. So I take nothing out of this for Devontae Jones. This is a fluke game. He still sucks. Terrence Williams, we probably got a little lucky there with some of the shots he was making.
Johns needs to play more.
Oh, yeah. Johns. What a game from Johns. 0 for 5.
Well, he's very talented.
Yeah. Houston 0 for 10. So Caleb Houston and Brandon Johns that combined 0 for 15 from the field. Great players. And, Kobe Buffkin's been playing pretty well over the last month. That was a big shot he hit. Obviously didn't play that much, but that was a big shot he had against Ohio State there. He's been playing pretty well.
I think he's important. If Michigan wants to win anything in the postseason, and I'm not talking about a tournament championship or NCAA tournament championship, just like go on a run. I think Buffkin needs to step up to just give you one more player in depth. The difference between a 7-man rotation and 8-man rotation is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can. He's been playing well. If he continues doing that, we'll be a dangerous team. But we'll only be a dangerous team for one game because we will go out. We played well against Ohio State So we're probably going to lose to Indiana. Either that or it will be a very ugly win just because Indiana sucks.
Yeah, well, screw everybody on Wisconsin needs to be lined up and shot. They are the Providence of the Big Ten. They are one of the luckiest teams in the country, and they lost to Nebraska and screwed us out of a Wisconsin-Michigan rematch in the quarterfinals. I mean, Greg Gard would have been
Yeah, they
throwing
lost on purpose.
punches. You think so? He's scared of Michigan.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to see some 6'10" guy in an alley, or on a court coming at me in the handshake line.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't either, but they robbed us of Michigan-Wisconsin rematch. It would have been fight night at Lucas Oil Stadium.
It's okay. They can play. They can have a Maryland Wisconsin rematch.
Is that
That'll
where
be
they're
fun.
playing the tournament this year? Are they playing it at Lucas Oil, or are they playing it in like Chicago or whatever?
I think they're playing it at Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indy.
Oh,
I don't
that's
think
right.
they're playing
In
at
Indianapolis.
Lucas Oil.
Never mind. Yeah, that was dumb. Yeah, they
All right,
should keep
let's-
it in Indianapolis. Indianapolis is the perfect place for any postseason
We'll
tournament.
talk about the
for any
Wisconsin
sport.
Illinois thing, but let's first, Mike, do you have anything to say about Tom Izzo breaking the Big Ten wins record in a single school?
Yeah, it's about time. Would it take him 30 years? I mean, congratulations. Congratulations to Coach Izzo. Consistency has been, quite good over the years. It's kind of
The
waned
only
over
reason
the
he
past
got
few
the
years,
only reason he got it is because Bob Knight beat the shit out of some kid. Just remember that.
Well, yeah, that is true. But give the man his due. He's been consistent over the years, and let's see if he can make his magic happen on this team, which I give a 0% chance of that happening. But you never know. I guess we've seen teams like this who you think you have no chance of doing anything, and they make a magical run, but that was those teams showed at least a little progress. This team hasn't, but what is it, 664? I mean, it's not like it's 994. I mean, it's not that big of a leap, is it? I mean, it's not like Jim Boeheim or Coach K with 1200. So, I mean, congratulations, I guess.
You gotta go another 30 years, Mike.
All right. Yeah. So Wisconsin has Johnny Davis go down.
Choked away the Big Ten. They did all this celebration and then they didn't even win it.
They should have their trophy taken away because Illinois has the tiebreaker.
Yeah, they're not the one, and they're not the one seed.
Okay. So they lose Johnny Davis. He's apparently going to be fine for Friday, and then they lose the game to Nebraska. And then Illinois beats Iowa, and they split the Big Ten championship. So what do we have to say about this?
Yeah, it's just embarrassing that they choked it like this, and they choked the one seed, which they probably, like Mike said, they did on purpose. But I mean, good one for Illinois. What's his face has done wonders there the last few years. I mean, that's what back-to-back Big Ten titles. So, congrats to them.
Yep.
Back to back, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Underwood has done his magic in Illinois. When they got him, I know a lot of people thought it was a good hire, but I don't think people really thought he was going to be this good through 5 years at Illinois. He's really turned Illinois into what they used to be, a consistent top of the Big Ten level program, and a team that's going to compete for a Big Ten title every year. And they're getting the talent to compete for a title every year. So congratulations to them. Wisconsin, yeah, not great, but I don't take a whole lot out of the game because, they already won their championship, and I don't think, winning the outright Big Ten championship, obviously, it means more than a shared championship, but it doesn't mean that much more. So I wasn't entirely shocked, especially because this Wisconsin team, I mean, if they don't come out and play their best, anybody can beat them because they're not overly talented. They're not physically imposing. But you also got to give credit to Nebraska, who actually they've jumped over 60 spots in the Jet Pri the past week or so, which is crazy. But they, from a power rating standpoint, they're probably a top 65 team in the country now.
All right.
Just the way they're playing, they've played some of the best basketball over the last 2 weeks of anybody in college basketball. This is a perfect ending to the season. You could not have scripted this better for Fred Hoiberg. Now, if he makes wins 2 games in the Big Ten tournament, now you can kind of build off this. And they're going to have, I think, a decent amount of their players are going to come back next year. So, and the league's going to get worse. So hopefully, for him, you can use this end of the year as a springboard for next year.
Yeah, I mean, good for Purdue.
For Purdue.
Oh, sorry, not Purdue, Illinois.
Bad for Purdue. Are you kidding me? They absolutely choked this thing away.
Good for Illinois, but this is deemed a Mickey Mouse championship because if Johnny Davis doesn't get hurt yesterday, Wisconsin wins that
I thought
game.
he was kicked out.
No, he got hurt.
Oh, was the flagrant foul against him?
I don't know.
No, Nebraska was missing McGowan's.
Doesn't
He's
matter.
a way bigger loss than Johnny Davis.
Okay, no, he's not. Wisconsin
Yes,
is
he
not an NCAA
McGowan's
tournament
is
team without Johnny
Nebraska's
Davis.
only player. Nebraska wins 0 games without McGowan's.
Wisconsin goes from a 2 seed to a 2 seed in the NIT without Johnny Davis. So, yeah, I mean.
Well, I don't think you're underestimating how good Jordan Davis is.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is a Mickey Mouse championship for Illinois. But it is what it is. They get to hang their banner, so good for them. All right.
Well, they got 2 in a row, so they're going for
yeah.
a three-peat next year. They're going to try to do what Michigan State did a couple years ago.
Okay, let's go into each of the power conference tournaments. Let's start with the Pac-12. Just give us a quick preview and a prediction.
Well, this this conference is a joke. Interesting bracket. I think you like Oregon outside the top 4 could go on a run. Washington State has won a few decent games this season. They were hot at the beginning of the year, but they kind of cooled down. Colorado was a sneaky team. They got the 20 wins, 4 seed. But I think USC is going to end up losing to Arizona in the championship.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting conference to say the least. It's not a good conference, but it's interesting. I look at a team like Oregon State, and they play 20 games now. I didn't realize the Pac-12 played a 20-game schedule now. But yeah, I mean, I think the top 3 are obvious. I think UCLA has a little bit more to play for. They're trying to get guys back from injury. I think Arizona's. I don't know if they're going to coast, but they're already obviously they're playing for a 1 seed, but that's kind of it's not that big a deal.
They've got that locked up.
Yeah, I was gonna say they almost have it already locked up.
Sorta. It's not. I don't think
Unless
it's set in
something
stone
crazy
yet.
happens.
If Kentucky wins the SEC tournament and they lose in like the first game or 2 in the Pac-12 tournament, then maybe not. But yeah, I mean, I think UCLA is going to win it. I've been high on UCLA all year, and I still think Arizona's better, but I think UCLA is going to be a little bit more. They're going to have more of an incentive to win it. I think they will. Kind of the team to watch out for me is Arizona State. I mean, they've been playing really well lately. Bobby Hurley's got that thing back on the tracks. Watch out for
Luther
Arizona
Muhammad.
State to make a run.
Yeah, I think Luke hit it right on the nose. Talking about Oregon and Washington State. This is a conference because of the lack of good teams. There's only 3 good teams where you could see a bid steal, and
Colorado's a solid NIT team, so
yeah, Colorado sucks. But I think Oregon and Washington State are the teams to watch for, and I'm actually going to pick Oregon to win this tournament.
Oregon State has the history.
Oh yeah, they got a
Oregon
good team this
State.
year.
Wayne Tinkle basically said, "Fuck the regular season. We're just going to teleport to the conference tournament and just win it." who gives a shit about the regular season?
I'm going to take Oregon to win the tournament. I'm not going to give up on them. I've been on them all year. I refuse to believe that team is going to miss the tournament with the amount of talent they have. I think they're going to get it done.
Could you imagine a Pac-12 play-in 16 seed? That'd be crazy. Oregon State playing in Dayton.
All right.
Oregon State playing like North Carolina A&T.
They get killed. All right, let's go to the ACC.
The ACC is a little interesting just because of how hot UNC's been the last month and a half of the season. I think Duke's the obvious favorite. I'm going to pick them, but I think Duke could have a really tough first game against either Florida State or Syracuse. If they get past that, I think they will comfortably win it. And I think they're going to face North Carolina. Or they'll probably face the winner of the North Carolina-Virginia game in the championship.
Yeah, obviously Duke's massive favorites in this tournament. But watch out for North Carolina. You know, I think they're the second best team in the ACC right now. The talent's there. They play. You know, they don't play defense, but they can score the basketball. That's for sure. Other teams to watch out.
Purdue.
Huh?
They're a Mickey Mouse Purdue.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a pretty decent comparison. The teams to watch out for, I think Virginia Tech. I know Virginia Tech lost to Clemson the other day, but they're playing really well. They're
playing great.
team.
They lost to Clemson.
Florida State's been playing well lately too, so watch out for those two teams. But yeah, I'm going to take Duke.
I'm going to take Duke, but as Luke was saying, the Florida State-Syracuse game, that is the game of the two possible bid stealers, I believe. Florida State's been playing
BC,
great.
obviously.
And who? Yeah, BC. Yeah.
BC, obviously.
Florida State's been playing well. Syracuse, we know what they've done in the past.
Plus, that 2-3 zone can be tricky.
Oh yeah, it's been tough to figure out this year.
Well, I'm just saying.
But yeah, that's the game to look at when Duke plays one of those teams. I agree with Luke. If they get by that, they're going to coast and win this thing. All these other teams are terrible. And if they were in any other conference, they wouldn't be in the NCAA. Any other power conference outside of the Pac-12, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Miami, and Wake would not.
Yeah, but what's
None of
going
them
to
would be in
happen?
the NCAA tournament.
What's going to happen when they get to the NCAA tournament? They're all probably going to make it to the second round of the Sweet 16 somehow, either by favorable matchups or just because they haven't had to exert as much energy as teams in the Big Ten, SEC, and Big 12 have.
All right, let's go to the SEC.
I think the winner of is going to come out of the Tennessee-Kentucky game. I think Tennessee and Kentucky, if they are going to play in that semifinal game, if whoever wins that, I think is going to win the tournament. I think those are the two best teams. I think Auburn is a fraud because I think I just think down the stretch they are they just suck. What's his face? I was watching a couple of their games, and obviously Jabari Smith's their best player, but their two guards refuse to give him the ball. Johnson and Green, if Wendell Green, the freaking what's his face? Bruce Pearl can write up a play to get a game-winning shot for Jabari Smith, and Johnson and Green would get the ball and they just go ISO and shoot the ball and lose the game. I mean, they're going to lose them games when it comes down the stretch in both tournaments. I think Florida could be the bid steal. They've been really inconsistent, but they've had games where they've played really hard and surprised me. So I think Florida could be the bid steal. I think the winner is going to come out that Kentucky-Tennessee game. I'm going to go with Kentucky.
According to my bracketology, Florida's safely in the tournament.
They're not safely in the tournament. They're on the bubble.
They're not even close to being in.
No, they're a 9 seed right now, according to my bracket.
Jesus. Are you sure you're not a 19 seed?
They're 9 seed. I mean, they've beaten a lot of good teams.
Florida State, that you said sucks.
No, I mean they went 9-9 in the SEC. They got a lot of good wins. They beat Auburn.
come on. Didn't they lose to like Texas Southern?
Yeah, that was not a good loss.
No. All right. I think Kentucky's gonna win it. I agree with Luke. Auburn, they don't, first of all, they don't shoot the ball well enough, and they don't rebound the ball well enough to be a contender to win these big conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament. Tennessee and Arkansas, those two teams are very good. I think Arkansas is a little better than Tennessee. But those two teams, they're going to have a chance, but obviously they're going to have a chance. Those are the top four teams. I think it's clear. LSU, they're decent. They're a solid tournament team. Alabama, another solid tournament team. They're in the 8-9 game. I think Alabama's going to end Florida's dreams pretty early on, but it's going to be an interesting tournament. I think this is the tournament that you got to have your TV on for, especially for the semifinals and the finals. It's going to be very funny. It's going to be very fun to watch. And I think Kentucky's the best team out of the four. I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, the top four are all very good. I think they're all capable of getting to the Final Four. Arkansas is a team I've fallen in love with over the last couple of weeks. I think they're a team that is built to win in March in terms of having a top scorer, being able to rebound the ball. And they've been playing pretty good defense as of late as well. And that's why I'm going to take Arkansas to win this tournament. I think they will.
So you've actually acknowledged that Musman's a good coach.
Yeah.
Well, it's only taken you 4 years now.
I never said he was a bad coach.
Oh, you did.
No, I didn't. I said
he sucked and Nevada sucks.
Well, Nevada did suck, but he didn't.
No, Nevada did not suck.
Yeah, they did. I remember I remember that at the year after they made the run, when they were like a Mountain West team, they were like 500 in the Mountain West, and Lenardi had them on the bubble.
Well, they were a 10 seed that year.
Was that? Yeah, they
Or
made
7.
the tournament. They made the tournament, and they had no business being in the tournament.
I think they were a 7 seed, weren't they?
No, they were.
They were 7, and then they played at Florida, and then they lost.
They were. Yeah, they had no business being in the tournament.
Yeah, you hated them all year too.
For a fact.
You and Alex would go about it.
Yeah, their resume was horrible.
Well, you know for a fact, if Michigan played that Nevada team, they would have lost.
No, we would have killed them.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm taking Arkansas. All right. Let's go to the Big 12.
The Big 12 has probably. How many teams in the Big 12 could probably win it? Probably 8 of the 9. West Virginia is probably the only team I would say has zero chance whatsoever. I think the winner's going to come out of the bottom of this bracket, just because I think the way it ended up top of this bracket between Kansas, TCU, Texas, and Kansas State is brutal. I don't think Kansas State's obviously as good as the other three, but I still think they can give anybody a run. That Texas TCU game is probably going to be the game of the tournament. But I think Texas Tech is going to end up going on a run and winning this thing.
Yeah, I think Baylor's getting healthy at the right time.
And Iowa State has to watch how you lose that first game to Texas Tech. They've slowly moved on to the bubble the second half of the season, but
no, they're
Iowa State needs to watch out.
Iowa State safely in. They had some pretty big wins to end the year. I think it's going to be Baylor. I just don't like Kansas at all. I've been saying all year I don't like them. I still don't like them. I don't think, there's something about it. I don't know what it is, but they have a bunch of good players. I don't know if they have a really, really great player. I know Agbaji's very good, but I don't think he can carry you. I think he can be a guy who knocks down shots, but I don't think he can carry a team. And Remy Martin doesn't play enough to carry them. And obviously Christian Brown doesn't carry him. Jalen Wilson's been good the second half of the year, but he's not going to carry them. And what's his name? The big guy. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
McCormick. He's
McCormick. McCormick plays like 20 minutes a game because his feet are all fucked up.
He's also
So-
awful.
Yeah, he's also not good. I remember when Marcus Bingham held him to like 2 of 10. So, the team to watch out for, obviously, Chris Beard always gets his teams ready for March. And I think Texas has a pretty favorable schedule if they can get by. If they can get by Baylor, obviously, because I think TCU's a good team, but I think Texas matches up pretty well against TCU. But if Baylor can win that game, I think they'll pull it off. And Kansas and Texas Tech they'll play a grudge match, just an absolute slugfest in that game. I like Texas Tech, but I think they're a little tiny bit, over inflated, I think. So I think Baylor's going to end up winning it.
I agree. I'm going to take Baylor. And everybody knows, I'm a big Kansas guy. I've been on Kansas all year. I think they're a really good team, but, they're going to play an arch rival in that quarterfinal game. They're going to play Kansas State, and they're going to lose. Kansas State will beat Kansas in the quarterfinals.
Okay, let's calm down.
They will. Kansas State is my team to watch for a bid steal. I really like the way Kansas State has played to finish the season. I think they're a really solid team.
I don't like the way they played at all.
They hang around in every game, and they definitely. I wouldn't count them out as a bid stealer.
Yeah, really playing well to end the year. Where they lost 6 straight games.
Well, they've been hanging around in some games. I like the way they play. I'm a big Kansas State guy, and I definitely think they're going to beat Kansas.
Well, I'm the Kansas State guy. I've always been a Kansas State guy.
Well, I'm taking that title.
Well, no, it's bullshit. All the state teams are mine.
But yeah, Baylor's playing really well right now. I think they'll win it. All right, Big East.
The Big East bracket ended up actually being quite interesting. I think that top half of the bracket, I think it's going to end up being a Providence versus Marquette semifinal. I think Marquette could give Providence some fits. I think Providence is kind of going to cool down. I think they're actually going to probably end up making it to the Sweet 16. I mean, it all depends on their matchups in the NCAA tournament, but I think they could probably make it to the Sweet 16 and kind of surprise people because everyone's been talking about how overrated they are. But I think Marquette ekes them out in that semifinal game, but I think the winner is going to come from this bottom 4 between Villanova, UConn, St. John's, and Seton Hall. All 4 of those teams could win this tournament.
You want crack?
No, Chris is going to agree with me 100%. I guarantee it.
I have a lot to say about.
Well, what are people obsessions with St. John's?
I'd like St. John's this year.
I don't. The Jet probably doesn't like St. John's.
Well, I don't think St. John's is going to win it because I think they're going to run to Villanova. But I mean, if they get past Villanova, they can beat UConn or Seton Hall. But I think UConn's going to end up winning this tournament because I'm
never count out the defending champs either.
Yeah, that's a good point. They know how to win. Next thing you know, former Georgetown Allen Iverson's going to be literally hanging from the rafters to give
another play. Imagine
the
play-in 16 game between Georgetown and Oregon State. I'm not I think the Big East, the top of the Big East, I don't think the 3 teams at the top are great. I think they're pretty good. But to be honest with you, I think UConn's probably better than the other
being
2.
Played? It's got to be at Madison Square Garden, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And then below the top 3, I don't like Creighton at all. They're going to find their way in barely. Marquette, I don't like Marquette at all. I think they got lucky early in the year. Seton Hall, I do like Seton Hall. But I think UConn's got a pretty good path. I know they got to face Villanova, but I think this is a tournament they want to win. There'll be a lot of UConn fans there, and I think they'll pull it off. I think Providence is going to lose pretty early on. I don't see them making a run. They won their regular season title in a Mickey Mouse fashion, but they won it. And usually teams that win the regular season don't win the tournament. That's not always the case, but I feel like Providence is one of those teams that falls into the category of, oh, we won the regular season championship. We don't care. Not that you don't care, but you don't put in the same intensity for the conference tournament. I wouldn't be shocked if they lost to like, who would they end up playing? I'm not even looking
Xavier.
at the bracket right now.
Xavier.
Xavier. Yeah, I don't know about Xavier, but
Marquette, Creighton.
yeah, they could lose. They could lose pretty early on. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. I actually agree on the Providence thing. I am going to pick Providence to go on a run in the NCAA tournament, but I
I'm
agree.
not.
They've won the Big East. They probably are not going to put the intensity into this tournament.
Oh, Chris laying down the excuses to
No, I'm
to
serious.
The tournament. He's been on this team all year, and now he knows they've been lucky, so he's laying down the excuses already. So if they lose,
I'm going
Yep.
to pick them to go on a big run in the NCAA tournament. I'm saying that right now, but not in the
now
Big
you're
East
taking
tournament.
now you're taking my take.
I can't wait for them to lose to Vermont in the first round.
Providence. I think they're going to lose to Marquette. I think Marquette will end up in the championship game. I like Creighton, but they're dealing with some injuries right now. On the other side of the bracket, my bid steal game to watch is St. John's and DePaul. DePaul is playing really good basketball.
DePaul's not going to get no. DePaul's not going to get a bid steal. Come on, Chris, be serious.
Sneakily, DePaul is playing really good basketball right now. So look out for them. St. John's has the talent to do it. So that's my bid steal game. Seton Hall is going to beat UConn. UConn is a fraud. And I really like Seton Hall because they beat Michigan. I think the Seton Hall Villanova game will be a dog fight.
But Ohio State beat Seton Hall, so Ohio State beat Michigan.
But I think Villanova will play Marquette, and I'm not going to pick against Villanova. It's coming together for them. They have the roster to win the whole thing. So I'm going to take Villanova. All right. Lastly, we'll go to the Big Ten.
We were talking about the American.
We're not going to touch on the American now.
The Big Ten, I think the SEC is probably the most interesting conference tournament, probably followed by the Big Ten. And that's just because the Big Ten, I mean, I would probably say out of the top 9 teams, I would say, or top 10 teams, I'd probably say 7 of them have a chance to win it. And you can make a legitimate case for them to win it. Maybe 8 if you include in Indiana, because they have arguably Trace Jackson Davis is him and Kofi Coburn are the most dominating forces on their day in the Big Ten.
Okay. Trace Jackson Davis sucks.
No, he's inconsistent, but if he's on, he is him and when Kofi Coburn and he are on, they are the best players in the Big Ten.
No.
The problem is Trace Jackson Davis just isn't on that much.
He's
But
awful.
I'm gonna take Iowa to win it. I mean, they a little bit unlucky losing out that 4 seed. I think they have an easy first game between Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska's hot, I guess, technically, but as hot as you can get as a 8-win
I wouldn't
team
want
or
to play
whatever they are.
Nebraska.
But I think Iowa has. I just think they have the easiest road. I think they'll play probably Illinois in the semifinal. They'll beat them, and then they're going to come up against either, I think, Ohio State or Wisconsin. I think Ohio State. Purdue stinks. Purdue absolutely stinks. In my opinion, they don't play defense.
Ohio State's been playing like a CBI team over the last month.
We beat Illinois.
Okay, you're like 2-5 this month.
No, we're not 2-5. We're 3-3, but we're 4-3. I think.
Nebraska and Maryland.
Yeah, but we beat
and Michigan without Hunter Dickinson at home.
Yeah, but we also beat Michigan and Illinois. So, and I think we're going to get back healthy. But it's not as much as my love for Ohio State as much as I think Purdue stinks. I mean, they play zero defense and I just don't like them at all. I think they'll
Purdue
get
never
first round of the
never
NCAA
does well in the
tournament.
conference tournament ever.
So I think Ohio State has an advantage over Wisconsin, but I can't buy into Ohio State the way we're playing. So I think it's going to be Iowa versus Wisconsin in the conference championship. And I think Iowa's going to win.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get the bracket out. I didn't get the bracket out for the other ones, but this is a big one. So, Chris, you can go before me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at a team like Michigan State here. Um,
Yeah, you don't have to look at them for very long.
okay, that was a joke. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big game between Michigan and Indiana. Probably a much bigger game for Indiana. If they can win that game, they have a good chance to get in the tournament. Other than that, I'm looking at Wisconsin, and I'm looking at a team that's probably not going to have a fully healthy Johnny Davis, and I think they're going to play.
the Providence. Those are Providence of the Big Ten.
No, they're going to play. Yeah, they are the Providence because they're the best team in the Big Ten. Wisconsin's going to play Purdue, I think, in the semifinals, and it's also very hard to beat a team twice in 2 weeks. So I do think Purdue will get Wisconsin there. And Illinois, I mean, Illinois has a very easy bracket. Michigan or Indiana, those are two slouches. Rutgers, Iowa, they should beat both of those teams. And I think Illinois will beat Purdue. I think they're better than Purdue. And I'm going to take Illinois.
I like the bottom of the bracket. I think the bottom of the bracket's easier than the top of the bracket, to be honest with you.
Well, for Illinois, it's easy.
Yeah, Illinois is just. I think they're just so much better than every other team
No,
besides
just because
Iowa.
Michigan and Indiana blow.
Well, Michigan. I think Michigan might be Illinois' toughest game, to be honest with you, until the championship. But I mean, look at the teams that are in the top side of the bracket. Michigan is they're hot.
They're bad.
Indiana, but they'll have a chance. Illinois, really good. I think they're the best overall team in the Big Ten. Rutgers is hot as well. I can't believe they got the double bye. Could you bet? If you told me 3 years ago that Rutgers would get the double bye in any Big Ten championship over the next 20 years, I would have told you you're crazy. But what a hell of a conference season from Rutgers. And then Iowa's the hottest team in the Big Ten right now. And they've also creeped their way up the Jet Pri rankings as well. They're a top 20 team now, according to the Jet Pri. So, yeah, that was a tough loss, by the way, against Illinois. That was missing that many free throws. But yeah, I like the bottom of the bracket because I don't think Wisconsin is that good, and I don't think Purdue's that good. And I think Ohio State's got a good chance. I really do. And I don't want to say it, but I think if Michigan State is going to make a run, this is the type of bracket you wanted to see. You wanted to see Wisconsin in the second game because I don't think Wisconsin's not going to blow you out. Wisconsin's not going to overwhelm you. So if you play a good game,
I can't wait for Michigan State to lose to Wisconsin by about 25 points.
Well, we aren't going to get to Wisconsin, so I think Maryland is a nightmare matchup for Michigan State, but. I think they proved it last year in the Big Ten tournament when they just blew our doors off. But yeah. By the way, this is the second straight year that Michigan State ends with Maryland and then plays them in the first round of the Big Ten tournament. So that's a little interesting, but yeah, if you're going to make a run, I'd like to see a team like Wisconsin. I'd like to see a team like Purdue in your side of the bracket. And to be honest with you, the way Ohio State's playing, I'd like to see a team like Ohio State. The top of the bracket, I feel like all the hot teams in the conference are in the top, and all the teams that aren't playing as well are in the bottom. That's what it seems like. Even a team like Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska could give you a fit. They really could. They gave Iowa a really good game like a week or two ago. They almost beat them. So watch out for them. But who's going to win? I think Illinois is going to win.
All right. So I'm just going to tell you the conference and you just tell me who's going to win the conference tournament. We'll go in alphabetical order and we'll just zip through this. And we'll start with the best conference in the land, the America East.
I think Vermont's going to win, and they're helped out by an absolute massive UNH choke job to Binghamton the other day.
Yeah, Vermont's just so much better than everybody else. I'll take Vermont.
I'll take Vermont. I was going to pick Maine if they made the conference tournament, but they didn't. All right. The American.
I want to
I'm gonna
break down
say-
this conference.
I'm gonna take SMU.
I mean, yeah, Chris, this is a stat for you, and I'm shocked you haven't talked about this yet. But you know, Houston hasn't beaten a single tournament team this year.
I
Not
know when
one.
I saw that, I moved them down like 3 seed lines in my bracket.
Where are they in your bracket?
They're like a 7.
That's a little high. I'm shocked they're that high, to be honest with you. They haven't beaten anybody. They're like North Carolina. They haven't beaten anybody.
Yeah, but I actually have respect for Houston because they went to the Final Four last year, and they
Yeah,
beat
like
Oregon,
I
who
was
who I
saying,
think is
they
good.
have-
So
I listen. I'm all over the Memphis hype train right now. I really am. I think SMU. I don't like SMU at all. I don't think SMU is that good, and I don't think there's any other team that can really compete with Houston. But I think Memphis can. Memphis has Houston's number, and you know how the saying is, "Oh, you can't beat a team 3 times," or "It's hard to beat a team 3 times." Well, did you see the stats actually favor the team? Like if you're 2-0 against a team, stats say that there's a good chance you beat them a third time. I think Memphis has Houston's number, and I think they're going to win it. I think Memphis is going to end up being like a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament, just because they've really the way they're playing now, and beating Houston again, and they'll probably beat SMU again. So
I'm with Luke. I'm gonna go with SMU. I've kind of hopped on their train.
now the Jet Pride is not like SMU.
All right, Atlantic 10.
I'm gonna
I think this is the most interesting of all tournaments. This might be the most interesting conference tournament out there.
I'm gonna take Davidson, but watch out for George Mason and the big steal.
I mean, I think every team 1 through 6 has a chance. I think Davidson's might be in if they don't win it, but every other team, I mean, VCU's on the bubble, but Dayton, they have to win it. St. Bonaventure has to win it. St. Louis, Richmond, all those teams have a great chance to win this conference tournament. It's wide open. It's as wide open as any conference tournament out there. I think Dayton's the best team in the conference. I think Dayton's going to win it. I'll take them. I think Davidson's a little overrated. And VCU is good, but I think Dayton is very high in the Jet Fry for a reason. They beat Kansas earlier in the year, and they're playing well in the year. So I'll take Dayton.
I'm gonna go with the Bonnies. They have a ton of experience. They were ranked where they were at the beginning of the season for a reason. I'm gonna take them. All right. Let's see here. Big Sky.
Yeah, Montana State. They're the best team by far.
Yeah, this is usually Montana's conference, but
Yeah, we usually play them in the tournament.
yeah, Michigan's going to find a way to play Montana. I'm not sure how it's going to happen, but they'll find a way to make them play. But
First
yeah,
four
I mean,
games.
Montana State is playing, football. They had a great year in football, made it to the Final Four. Made it to the national championship.
Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament, and they're playing the first 16 game.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm all over the Montana State Year of Destiny thing. They made it to the national championship in FCS, and I think they'll win it. They'll win the Big Sky this year.
I'm gonna take Southern Utah because Michigan beat them.
Yes, that was the team Nick Ward hit his 3 against.
Let's go to the Big West.
I'll go with Long Beach State. They're the favorite.
This is usually UC Irvine's conference, but they're still there. They're still up there. They've had a pretty good year, but lost to Cal Poly. That's not very good. But obviously, UC San Diego not eligible for the tournament. They've had a pretty good year though, considering they just moved up. But I feel like that happens more than it doesn't. When a team moves up, I feel like they play pretty well. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Hawaii here. I think it's the Rainbow Warriors year.
I'll go Long Beach State as the favorite. All right. Let's go to the CAA.
Why
Which
are we
just had a big
talking?
upset.
Are we talking about this controversy in the Atlantic Sun?
Well, we've already picked the Atlantic Sun.
Yeah, but there's a big controversy.
There is. It's ridiculous. I don't know. Is there much debate on that?
Luke made a decent argument.
Yeah, I mean,
Just give it
Really
to the
confident?
regular season champ,
yeah,
which
just
would
give
be
it to the regular
Jacksonville
season
State.
champ.
No, that's ridiculous. Okay, there was a big upset in the CAA. Towson just lost to Delaware. So the 3 teams left
Yeah.
are Delaware, Charleston, and UNC Wilmington.
I'm trying to find the bracket because I don't want to pick a team that's out. Who'd you say was left?
Delaware, UNC Wilmington, and Charleston.
Oh, Jesus. I'll take Wilmington.
No, I'm gonna take Charleston because I think
They've
they
upgraded their
upgraded
coach. That's what's been
they
holding them back
upgraded a
for
head
so many years.
coach. Yeah, exactly. They got rid of Earl Grant, who ran the program into the ground, and they got the guy from what's it called, Winthrop, he's got great intangibles, great tangibles and tangibles. He's done a great job at Winthrop, and he's going to do a great job at Charleston too. Charleston's going to shock the world and make the tournament this year.
I'm going to take Wilmington. Okay. Conference USA.
You see, Charleston's actually favored.
I did see that. Conference USA.
North Texas is going to win it. They're the best team by far, but they also have, or UAB is not bad, but they also do this stupid thing where they have the East and West. The ASUN did this too.
Chris, you go first.
North Texas.
Let's see. The Conference USA. This is another somewhat interesting conference.
North Texas UAB will be a decent championship game, but
yeah, usually Western Kentucky's up there, but yeah, North Texas had a great year. I think they're going to make it again, and they'll have a good chance to upset another team in the first round.
Okay. We already picked the Horizon last week. Let's go to the Ivy League.
this was I remember going on about this a couple podcasts ago. Who ended up making it? It was must have been Penn, Princeton. Who was it? What a horrible website the Ivy League has. Penn, Princeton.
It's Princeton, Cornell, Penn, and Yale.
I'll take. I mean, Penn has the most talent.
Penn is
They
12
can
and 15.
I was about to. You let me finish. Penn has the most talent, but they just haven't been able to put it together this year. I'll go with Princeton.
Shout out to my professor, Dr. Hoffman. Went to Cornell. I'm sure he'll be rooting for. What are they? The Bears? I don't even know what their mascot is, but
No, I think Cornell Big Red.
oh, that's right. Yeah, whatever.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna take Princeton. I think they're by far the best team.
Yeah, Princeton. I agree. The double Mac.
I gotta go with Canisius here, right? Did they make the tournament?
Yeah, they're probably favored.
Yep, gotta be. Well, they're on the first round game. Let's see. Oh yeah, they're 11-20. They play Fairfield in the first round. So obviously they're a great team. Who's the favorite in the double Mac here?
Iona.
Oh yeah, I'll go with Iona.
Yeah, I think pressure's on Rick Pitino. I think he's got to win this tournament to get in.
Yeah.
So I think he'll do it. I never go against a great like Rick Pitino. Iona.
Yeah, Iona. I agree. All right, the single Mac.
This is a really interesting conference.
Yeah,
Not
that is
really.
interesting.
It really is.
Because I think Ohio was the favorites going into the year. Toledo had the best season. I think Kent State's the best team, so I'm gonna go with Kent State.
Yeah, Kent State has played great over the past few months. They've been really good. I think the top 5 really have a chance. Obviously, I mean, Akron played really well. I mean, they almost beat Ohio State early on. Buffalo was a team that people were saying was going to be very good, and they've had a decent season, but they're not near
I
the
mean, you have
top.
5 teams that are gonna have 20 wins by the end of the year, I think.
Ohio's very good. Kent State, I already said. Toledo, Michigan State played them. They were a good team. Listen, that Toledo coach has been there a long time, and I don't think he has a single NCAA tournament to his name. He's been a good
I think
coach
they made
there.
it. No, they didn't make it last year. Ohio made it last
Now,
year.
Ohio won it last year. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's one of the more interesting conferences, but I think Toledo's going to find a way.
I'm gonna take Buffalo because they played Michigan.
How about Western Michigan firing their coach?
I couldn't believe that.
Did you see the top two to replace him are Saudi Washington and Dwayne Stevens, who's an MSU assistant, who was supposed to be the heir apparent to Izzo. So I hope he goes to Western Michigan and never comes back.
All right, the MEAC. Great conference.
No, I don't pick HBCU conferences.
Jesus Christ. Howard has the most talent, but Norfolk State's going to win. They're the best team.
Shout out to Juan Dixon, the coach of Coppin State, the future coach at Maryland. He's done a terrific job. I know they're 70-22, but Coppin State's probably the hardest job out there.
No, I want to shout out to Maryland Eastern Shore. They were literally the past 5 years the worst team in the net rankings at the end of the year every year, and they've went 6-8 in conference.
Yeah, not bad. Delaware's tough year for Delaware State, but
real tough.
Yeah, I feel like Norfolk State is a mainstay. Either them or North Carolina Central makes it. I'll take Norfolk State.
I also like Norfolk State here.
You like him because Michigan beat him a few years ago.
That's right. Okay, let's go to the Mountain West.
Another interesting conference. Let me take a look at the bracket.
Another interesting conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Wyoming. I think Wyoming is the best, has the most talent, is the best team. They've slipped off at the end of the year, but
Oh my
listen,
God.
What?
Are you watching the SoCon game?
No.
Wow, just went to overtime. Guy hit a ridiculous 3 to tie it.
Interesting. Listen,
I
I
saw
think
Chattanooga was down big at the end of the game, or at halftime.
I would, to be honest with you, I think there are 6 teams that have a chance in the Mountain West Conference. Obviously, the top 4. I think UNLV's been playing really well down the year. And Utah State. Listen, people forget about Utah State. They won that early season tournament. They beat Oklahoma. They beat someone else. But listen, I know they've had injuries. Utah State's a team to watch out for. But I just think it's a little bit too much. The top of the conference is going to be a little too much for Utah State. I'm going to go with Colorado State. I don't think Wyoming. I don't trust Wyoming. In fact, I think UNLV is going to beat Wyoming. But I think Colorado State is the best team in the conference. I think Boise State's very good, but I think Colorado State's a little bit better. And I think they'll find a way.
I'm going to go with Boise State. I think they've been flying under the radar. They end up winning the regular season championship in this league. Nobody was really talking about them. I think they're going to win. Okay, the NEC.
I think it's Bryant versus Wagner, and I'm going to go with Bryant.
Yeah, I'm going to go with my guy, Peter Kiss. Didn't we already pick this conference?
That's how we picked this conference, yeah.
Or maybe we did, but
Bryant.
Yeah, Bryant for me too. Okay. The Patriot League. It's been a great league this year. Oh, we already picked that, didn't we?
We're on the Southland.
Yeah, Southland, yeah.
God, these freaking websites can do a better job with their goddamn brackets. I'll go with. Who the hell is Southeastern? I'll go with them.
Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, that must be it. Are they the number 2 seed?
I don't know. I'm just looking at the standings. They could be two because
Maybe
they're
Southeast
tied with another
Missouri?
team.
No. I'll go Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, I have a rule. Don't pick directional schools. Especially the non-4 cardinal directional schools. So no Northwestern State and no Southeast Louisiana State or Southwest Missouri State or where the hell that team is. But yeah, Nichols, solid team. They beat Wentworth early in the year. I'm going to take Nichols.
I'll take Nichols as well. I mean, they gave Purdue and Wisconsin trouble.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
They beat
Yeah,
Northern
Nichols.
Iowa.
Southeast Louisiana beat Nichols earlier in the year.
Not this time. Nichols.
No, the transitive property means more than direct head-to-head. So
Okay,
All right, the SWAC.
this is another great conference. Always gets a 16 seed, usually a playing game. I guess I'll go with. That's the women's tournament. God damn it, Texas Southern, because they usually win it every year.
yeah, another tough year for Mississippi Valley State. But yeah, I'm also going to go with Texas Southern.
I agree. I'm going to take Texas Southern. All right. The only league we have not picked is the WAC.
That's whack, man. Well, usually, New Mexico State's usually last few years have been the best team, but we have a 3-way tie. Stephen F. Austin's another team. They always seem to pull an upset. Grand Canyon's been good recently. Sam Houston State's been in the tournament before. My guy Mark Madsen at Utah Valley, love him. He's doing a great job as a coach there. I mean, I don't know how the hell this conference has what, 7 teams that are probably going to be 21 teams at the end of the year. I'll go with New Mexico State though.
Yeah, this is the new look WAC, isn't it?
Yeah, they've been adding teams left and right recently.
Yeah, I don't believe Abilene Christian was in there last year. I don't believe
Nope,
Sam
Lamar.
Houston was in
Lamar's new.
there. Lamar, yeah.
All the Texas schools are new.
Yeah, that's exactly. Man, I like conferences like this because they have a bunch of teams at the top.
They're adding more too, I think.
They have a bunch of teams at the top that have a good chance of winning it. Abilene Christian, they won their conference last year. Obviously, Grand Canyon's good every year. New Mexico State wins the WAC almost pretty much every year, it seems like. Obviously, it's a lot harder now. Stephen F. Austin wins their conference a lot. I'm going to go with Stephen F. Austin.
I agree. Stephen F. Austin has also won 10 games in a row.
Actually, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to take Grand Canyon because Scott Drew's brother coaches Grand Canyon.
They've won 10 games in a row. They're the hottest team coming into this tournament. They're going to win it. All right. Anything else before we depart?
No.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Big Four Podcast. We'll have something for probably after Selection Sunday, maybe on Monday next week.
Yeah, after every Big Ten tournament game, we're going to have a live reaction.
Yeah, that's right. So you can catch us on Wednesday after Minnesota Penn State.
And the Monday or Tuesday after Selection Sunday, we'll be doing our yearly simulation of the tournament.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I got to make a whole new program like I do every year.
Absolutely. Who was the winner? Was it Vermont? Didn't Vermont win it?
Really?
Vermont,
Yeah.
I can't remember who won it last year.
And we're 2 16-seed upsets.
Wasn't it like Vermont over Providence or something?
It was
yeah.
ridiculous.
In
No, it was
the COVID
Oregon.
year.
It was Oregon.
Vermont
It was
over
Oregon.
Providence.
That was Oregon.
Oh, maybe Providence is in the Final Four.
I remember the second game. It was like Michigan State against Abilene Christian.
No, it's Kansas.
Yeah, it was the
played
first game.
somebody.
Kansas and
Yeah, it
and
was Kansas lost to the 16, and then Michigan
far
State
and
lost
away.
to the 15.
the best team in the country loses to Robert Morris in the first game.
And this was this the pandemic year? I can't remember. It was
Yeah,
the
it
year
was.
That
before.
was the year before.
No, it was the pandemic year. Definitely.
No, it was Peyton Pritchard's Oregon team when you were high on him.
Yeah, that was the
Then
pandemic
versus
year.
Vermont. Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so you can look forward to that. That's going to do it for this week.
We'll also start our baseball podcast pretty soon.
Yeah, that'll be coming up. We'll probably do 3 times a week for that.
How about Michigan State going 2-1 against West Virginia, Notre Dame, and who else do they play? I don't even remember.
why are they playing in Minnesota?
I don't know. It's kind of a gimmick playing at a football stadium.
Yeah, but is it the closest place they can get?
No, but it's a gimmick. Playing at US Bank Stadium.
Yeah, but why doesn't?
Oh, they
Minnesota
beat
play there?
Kansas. That's who they beat.
Oh yeah, it's a good team.
They beat them like 10-1. Michigan State is hot right now, even though they got
Speaking
swept
too
by
early.
Abilene Christian last week.
All right, that's going to do it. We will see you for the baseball podcast and our simulation. So join us then.